Good evening, everyone. I hope loads of you are here to be able to watch our webinar this evening. The first time that we can actually talk about a face-to-face course for a few years, so really nice to be able to have that opportunity. I'll just let a few more people come in as the numbers go up and up and up and up. I hope keep going up. Yeah, so this evening we're going to be about 30 to 40 minutes. We're not going to be very long, but we're going to be talking a little bit about the courses coming up, and we're going to be listening to a few of the newer graduates talk about their experiences on the program. So lots to get through in a very short space of time. If you have got any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, but there will be a time at the end where we'll ask if anyone has any questions. Okay, just to clarify, in case any of you are a bit unsure about how this all works, obviously we can't see you, we can only see each other as the panelists on the webinar. Okay, so don't worry, the camera's not on you at all. If you have any questions, feel free to type them, or you can even, if you want to, ask any questions at the end. Okay, so I'm going to start off by handing over to Paul Pallock, who, well, Paul will tell you what he's up to in the next month or so. Paul.
Thanks, Matt. Paul Pallock is my name. I am the instructor for next month's Manchester course, which is going to be held between the 25th and the 28th of May at the Sasha's Hotel, right in the heart of Manchester. This is only our second face-to-face course in 2 years. So we're all very, very excited to be getting back together and sitting in a conference room and seeing each other face-to-face rather than over Zoom. It's a full 3-day course, and we are also offering some additional sessions for some of our returning grads on Wednesday afternoon as well. But the course starts for real Thursday morning after we have all spent the night at the hotel. Thursday is when we talk about all the physical sides of everything that we teach on the McGuire program. So we talk about the big 4 physical weapons. So we teach you how to use the costal part of your diaphragm. We teach you something called hit and hold, block release, and deep and breathy tone. This is the basis of what our physical technique is. And we go through that in a great deal of detail during Thursday. And by the end of Thursday, you will be in a place where your speech will be strong enough and you'll be strong enough to be able to stand up and give your names and addresses in full control. I haven't yet seen the course where that's not been achievable. So that's what you'll be able to do after just one intensive day. Friday, we move on to the psychological weapons. And again, we refer to these as our big 4 psychological weapons. We talk about deliberate disfluency, we talk about support network, overkill, and disclosures. It's a package. Everything comes together to give you the power, both physically and psychologically, to get control, to win this war against your stutter, because that, in essence, is how we need to look at this. That's the amount of power and determination you need to have to be able to take back control of your speech. So Saturday is where we bring it all together. The first couple of days are pretty mechanical, and it can seem somewhat monotonous. For some of you that might be decent covert stutterers, we need to undo those mindsets and bring you back. And it may seem like you've spent the last couple of days going backwards. But the psychological element of the stuttering is the same, whether it's overt or covert. And Saturday just allows you to bring together everything you've learned over the last couple of days and really face those demons. You'll never be asked to do anything that we've either not done before and won't be prepared to do again. And you'll never be doing it on your own. You'll always be with a fellow stutterer, someone, a coach, for example, who's been on the program for a decent amount of time and been through our staff training process. So you'll never do it alone, you'll never be alone, and you'll always be doing stuff that's been done before. And then that basically leads towards the end of the Saturday, and that is the end of the physical course, or if in the case of Christoph's, the virtual course. But in essence, it's the same thing, 3 days of working incredibly hard. It's exhausting, it's tiring, it's emotional. You will laugh, you will cry, you will want to hug people, and you'll want to go to bed early. But it's the most amazing 3 or 4 days you'll ever experience. I promise you that. So please come and join us.
Thanks, Paul. Quick question. When did you join the program and how long have you been a course instructor for?
My first course was 20 years ago this month. So I joined in April 2002 in Edinburgh in a haunted hotel. We didn't have to pay extra for haunted hotels. It was just what it was at the time. And I have been an instructor for, that's a good question, Matt. I think it's about 5 years now. Yeah, I've done a few instructions. Yeah.
Thank you. Obviously, everybody here has a stammer. We've all been through the program and we all know how it feels. Okay, over to Paulina, who's the cogs behind the wheel of making the Manchester course successful. Paulina.
Good morning, everyone. Paulina Buczewska is my name. It's really great to have you here today with us. Thank you for joining this webinar. So as Matt mentioned, I am the course organizer, the one in Manchester. It's my first time, and I have to say that I'm very excited. I'm enjoying it a lot. When it comes to my responsibilities as a course organizer, I'll be making sure that the course runs smoothly. I'll be dealing with any questions and queries from the attendees. I will be making sure that everyone is taken care of, especially the new students. I'll be giving them the best support possible. Therefore, if you decide to attend, I'll be your person to get in touch with, and I'll be taking care of you. Thank you very much. Paulina Buczewska.
You're all in safe hands. So that's great. So that's the two people really that are going to be playing a big part in the Manchester course. Like we said, that's next month. So if you are looking to attend, I expect some of you have already booked on the course that are here watching this, but if you've not yet, obviously we can arrange a chat and we can take it from there really. Thank you, you two. Okay, now to a few videos. First of all, I'm going to show you a brief first day video of Matt. So Matt joined the program very recently. I'm sure he'll tell you that. So just show you a quick clip now.
Yes. Could you?
My name is Matt Rogers.
Any middle names?
John.
Lovely. Could you tell us your full address?
27 Walcroft Close.
Do you have any hobbies?
I love to play football and watching football. I also love hanging out with my mates and going to the pub. And,
Do you go to any games to watch football?
yeah, I'm a Arsenal fan, so it probably isn't the best team to support, but yeah, I like going to watch them a lot with a few of my mates.
What do you do? Do you work or are you at school?
I work at Wetherspoons as a bartender. I find a lot of the time when I'm talking with customers, I tend to forget about my speech, and it tends to not really affect me as much. But I find that every time I think about it, it tends to be worse.
Okay. Over to you, Matt.
Matt Rogers speaking. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all doing really well. As you saw in my first day video, I had a covert stammer. This means that I would always use tricks and avoidance methods to hide that I have a stammer. Which would include things such as speaking too quickly, substituting words, and at all costs avoiding speaking situations. In other words, I wasn't showing my true personality, which is no way to live. So as Matt said, I am quite a recent graduate. I only completed my first course last month. But in terms of my experience on the course, I would say it's definitely difficult, but it's also very rewarding, and with perseverance and hard work, the sky will be the limits for you. So make sure that you put into it what you expect to get out of it, and you'll be grand. So in terms of my speaking achievements since I left my first course, well, one thing that I did that I'm very proud of is to disclose to all of my colleagues at work that I have a stammer. And as someone that used to hide this at all costs, and I would often go above and beyond to make it a fact that I didn't have a stammer. So because of this, it took a lot of guts to tell all of my work colleagues. So I'm definitely very proud of myself for doing this. And not only this, it shows that I've built the self-acceptance that you need as a stammerer. So yeah, that's definitely something that I'm happy about, and one of my achievements since I came off of my first course. Great to speak with you all. Matt Rogers.
Excellent. Thank you, Matt. Great stuff. Now over to Harry. I shall briefly show you his video. I believe you said you've never seen it before. Big, a big thing, that. Fair play.
Could I have your full name, please?
It's Harry Alan Connor Brown.
And what is your full address?
Christopher Cousins.
And are you still in school?
I'm in college.
And what are you studying?
Public services.
What's that like?
It's really fun and very active.
What makes it active?
We do a lot of running and fitness tests, because when you want to apply for like a public service job, you have to pass a fitness test.
And how is your speech like in general?
Well, I am a very talkative person, but speech holds it back, so I don't really talk much in college.
Okay, Harry.
Harry Brown, and seeing that video for the first time has really made me be proud of myself for what I've achieved and how much I've changed. Before the course, I was very untalkative. I never talked to anyone who didn't know I had a stammer, and so my communication skills weren't that good. But when I joined college, none of my friends were there, so I had to make new friends. And being someone who doesn't talk to people, try to make new friends whilst having a stammer was really hard. So I didn't really talk to them much. So I thought the next face-to-face course, I want to do it because I'm tired of my stammer pushing back my future and my life. So luckily the first face-to-face course was coming up, so I took that. And when I was on the way there, I was absolutely terrified. I was shaking, which made my stammer even worse. But I kept thinking that this will be a step to my future. So once I was there, it's very challenging, but the reward is greater. And being face to face was really good, as I could finally see people that have stammers and know that I'm not alone. So that really helped boost my confidence. And now it's been a month since the course, and I'm able to go into shops, ask questions, talk to people, and it's really improved my standard of living in a way. It's helped me be more happier, less nervousness, and it's just been a great help. And I think anyone who has a stammer and is having a really hard time should do it. And as I was under 18, I went there with my dad, and it was very challenging because I'm still a kid in a way, and starting it now has really helped with my thinking of my future. But I'm not afraid to do jobs. I'm not afraid to go and apply for stuff and it's really helped my future become a reality than me thinking I'm never becoming anything. I'm going to just stay at home, not do anything, because if I can't talk to a person at a cashier, how can I apply for a job? So overall, it's been a great help, and it's one of the best thing I've done in my life so far. So that's it. Harry Brown.
Thank you, Harry. That's great. Great to hear from you two who've recently done the face-to-face course. We've now got Brad speaking, and he's going to talk about his experiences of doing the online version, which is obviously slightly different. So I'll just quickly play his video.
Could you start with your name, please?
Brad Swainston.
And how did you hear about the McGuire programme?
Online, and I watched a few YouTube videos.
Ah. Would you like to make a phone call?
Okay.
Have your phone on you?
Yeah.
Matt has posted the number to you, I believe.
Has he done it on the group or on WhatsApp?
It's on the chat, isn't it, Matt?
Yeah, I've just posted it on the chat to everybody here. I can tell you the number: 07736.
Second. 07736. Yeah.
429.
429. Yeah.
350.
350. And do you want it on loudspeaker?
Yeah, please.
And what have I got to ask them?
It's a hotel.
Yeah.
So if you ask how much a room is,
Yeah.
or maybe next weekend, I suppose.
Okay. And that's it. Okay. Okay. Don't know if you can hear that bit.
Hotel Richardson, Matthew speaking. How can I help you?
Hi there. Could I just inquire how much it would cost for a standard room next weekend, please?
Next weekend. Would that be this Saturday or Sunday?
The Saturday's fine.
Saturday. And for how many people? Please?
2 people, please.
Is that room alright, or would you both be wanting breakfast?
Include breakfast, please.
Right. We've got either a twin or a double, and it's £85.
£85. Okay. I'll call back later. Thank you.
Okay. No problem.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Brad, if you can please tell people, and also it'd be quite nice for you to say what it's been like for someone that's covert joining the program. I know there's some people that are here watching that perhaps think their stammer's not that bad or not bad enough to have to do the course.
Brad Swainston speaking. Good evening, everyone. I did my first course in December 2021. This was an online hybrid course. As you can see from the video you've just watched, I had a covert stammer, with my biggest fear being my name, where I blocked on at the start. As a covert stammerer, the hardest thing for me was telling other people about my stammer, which was my biggest secret, and accepting myself and my stammer. The video you just watched, which I don't like because I no longer associate myself with that person anymore, was me on a bad day, I think. I was shaking the whole time I was doing that call. Before the course, I felt trapped. I felt that I had two personalities. One of who I actually was, and the other of how I showed myself to other people. Every minute of my life before was centered around my stammer. Every decision I made every day was so that people didn't find out that I stammered. To the extent where when I told my parents I was doing the course, my mum's response to me was that she thought to grow out of stammering when I was 12. I joined the course when I was 31. Even my auntie didn't realize that I stammered. So it's been, or the first month after the course were really tough. But since I've finished the course, I've joined a public speaking club where I go every 2 weeks to speak in front of 25 fluent speakers. And I've won prizes for the techniques they teach on this program. No ums, no ahs, no filler words that every other person uses. This course is not easy. You need to call coaches on a daily basis. And you need to put your speech first, ahead of anything else. If you do, you'll reap the rewards. No longer do I have to analyze every situation, look out for words and change them around in my head. So I no longer have that anxiety following me around. I'll be at the Manchester course. So I look forward to hopefully meeting a few of you and watching your progress over the 4 days. Brad Swainston, bye for now.
Thank you, Brad. That's brilliant. Okay, Christophe Dubry, over to you. Christophe's going to be one of the instructors on the hybrid version that we're going to be running in July. Christophe. Oh, muted.
I was muted. Sorry about that. Thank you. Christophe Dupuis is my name, and I joined the program in 2015. So not as long as Paul, but pretty long enough, I guess. And I'll be instructing the online course indeed in July. Thank you, Matt, for that, for the trust on me. And I'll be instructed with Mustafa Cham, a great friend of mine. So I'm sure it will be good, hopefully. I'm sure, hopefully it will be good. And yeah, and I'm extremely excited to instruct, really, really excited. So it will be an online course. It will be a month after Manchester, and it's another alternative. I'll let Matt explain the differences after, because I guess it's what he wanted to touch on. But just to mention quickly my background. As a kid, I was never really affected by my stammer, as opposed to many of you guys, I guess. And I started maybe to stutter maybe around 13 years old or something like that. But it was fine because I was pretty sporty and I was quite good in football. So at school, I was pretty popular. Everyone wanted to be friends with me, so I didn't even need to make any effort. And it really helped me. It really helped me. I felt I had a good confidence, and yeah. And then I went to uni. It was still okay. And after uni, I had to find a job, and I realized that actually now it's very difficult to make new friends. It's difficult to do anything, basically. I had to use my speech to find a job, to make new friends, to find a partner, etc., etc. Everything involves speech. And it's where my fear started to grow, to build, when I realized actually now I really need to do some effort. While before I never needed to make any effort, really. It was, I guess I was lucky compared to others, but yeah. And then over time, I went through job interviews. Even once in Paris, in France, I had, after 2 or 3 minutes, a job interviewer stopped me and say, I think it's better to stop. I think it's better to fix your stutter first and then come back to me, and yeah, we'll see. It really affected me a lot, this experience. And anyway, if we fast forward, around my 40 years old, so not too long ago, just before I joined the program, I was really not happy at work, and I wanted to change, but I believed, it was a real belief, I was 100% sure I couldn't face any job interview. So basically, there was no way out. I was trapped. I was just trapped. And the worst thing that can happen to us is to feel trapped and not knowing any way out. And I was really feeling extremely down. I got into depression, etc. And it's when I decided to join. So 2 years before, my mother-in-law talked to me about the McGuire program. And I tried so many things before, and it never worked. So I thought, it won't work, I don't care. And 2 years after, she mentioned that again to me. And because I was really at the bottom of the down, I don't know how you say that, but I was really feeling extremely down, that I thought, okay, I'll try, because I have to do something. I'll try, even though I know it won't work. And I know it costs money, but you know, I feel so bad. I'll go for it. And I have to tell you, and yeah, it's been the best thing I've ever done. Really the best thing I've ever done. And since now I've joined many courses. I've seen many people being transformed, and pretty much every single time I cry about that, because it's so emotional. It's really emotional to see the transformation. It's really great. And yeah, here we are now. So that's it, I guess, Matt. You unmute.
Thank you very much, Christoph. That's brilliant. Thank you, everybody. Okay, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the differences, because obviously we've got 2 versions now, and the hybrid version, basically, we had no option to try a few years ago because of COVID, and we were pleasantly surprised at the success of the course and the standard of how well the new students did during the 3 days doing it mostly online, compared to doing it on the course. In fact, the success rates have been slightly higher. Now, there's a few reasons for that, but personally, I believe that on the online version there is a lot less distraction. I think that what happens on the face-to-face version is that there's a lot more people, which brings a lot better atmosphere, which makes, I mean, for me personally, you know, I would have needed to have done the face-to-face version myself, because I just feel having people around to inspire you in the break times is something that really benefited me. However, there has been a great success with the online version, and I think it's because there's a lot more one-to-one coaching in the chat rooms compared to being in big lines on a face-to-face course. So what we've been doing, and what we did in Bristol, was we started to join the two together, really. We've been doing a mixture. We've been starting to do more and more one-to-one coaching in the in-person courses, because we found that really benefited the new students on the online version. Now, there's no, this is the best course, because it's really down to the individual. What do you really want to do? There's still a lot of rules and directions that you would need to follow, whether or not you're doing it in a hotel or doing it at home. There's still that focus of 3 days of not having contact with anyone in the outside world and just focusing on your speech, giving this your best shot. And if you do that, and if you follow the directions, then you will do well. But just like with everything, the McGuire program is not for everybody, because it's not for people that are not willing to put in the time and effort to make it work. If you're willing, if you're sick of your stammer, if you're thinking, I've had enough, I can't deal with it anymore, I want a way out, then this program will really help you. If you're looking for a cure, then this isn't the right program for you. And I don't think there is actually something out there. There's not a cure for us people that stammer. But the McGuire program takes you from being or having a mindset of fearing speaking and worrying about situations constantly, to actually thinking, even though I stammer, I can be an amazing speaker. I can be the best speaker that I want to be. And the McGuire program teaches you public speaking techniques and a way that you can learn how to, even though you stammer, say every word or sound that you want to say with control. I know I was on the phone to someone to an inquiry earlier, and I was thinking, gee, I'm nearly 50, that's scary stuff. And I was thinking, 26, I was 26 when I joined the McGuire program. That's like nearly half of my life. And I feel like two different speaking people. One, the first 26 years where I was waking up, worrying about speaking, really nauseous. Even if I had a good day speaking, just worrying about how I was going to get by, avoiding words and sounds constantly, to being able to now feel so much more liberated and being able to, I know I still stammer, but I can still say what I want when I want. And in fact, I'll probably be a better speaker because I stammer than I would have been if I hadn't have had a stammer. So yeah, whatever program or whatever version you decide to do, you will still get 100% support from the program. You will still have all of the online and face-to-face support after the course, which is really important. And that is a massive part of the success. For me, I needed my coach. I needed to be picked up at times to be able to bounce back from situations or a word or a sound that didn't go as I wanted it to. And I've been on the program 23 years now, and I've learned how to deal with those tough speaking situations. And there's some people here that you've just heard tonight who are starting the journey in the early days, but wow, are they brave enough to come on here tonight and speak to you especially you two from Bristol who, yeah, you only joined a few weeks ago and you're willing to do a live webinar. So yeah, I think we'll just go to a few questions before we leave tonight.
Matt, can I just jump in there one sec?
Yeah, please do. If anyone else got anything to add, please jump in.
I just want to rest your voice because I know you need to use it a lot. Just Matt touched upon it there, and Brad did as well, I think, in his presentation, and that is the amount of work that goes on outside of a course. So irrespective of whether you choose to do a face-to-face or a virtual course, the material that you're taught is the same, it's just a slightly different format. What happens in that course environment is that you get the kickstart, the jump start to get control of your speech. We'll show you that actually there is nothing physically or psychologically wrong with you, as you may have been telling yourself or have heard from others in the past, but in fact you can do this. That's when this journey starts. And it's when you go home and use our extensive support network that things really start to make a difference. I'm sure that every one of you has tried some form of therapy in the past. I myself had tried countless different types of therapy, hypnotherapy, NHS speech and language therapy, private. I've tried all sorts of stuff, standing on my head whilst drinking a cup of tea. Nothing worked. Because what was being taught to me was to get words out in a particular manner. That might have been to be somewhat robotic or to sing a lullaby. Well, you can't go through life singing lullabies to the bus driver to ask for your bus fare to get to school in the morning. But we recognize that it's the everyday stuff where you need the support. And that's where we offer something different. Your lifetime membership is what you will get once you complete your first course. Now, that isn't to be overlooked. Please don't think this is just about 3 or 4 days in front of your laptop or in a hotel room. It's not. That's the beginning, but that is the beginning of the most exciting journey you'll have ever been on. This is starting to sound a bit creepy. We are not a cult. We're not a cult. We're not going to brainwash you, but we are a group of stutterers that have been through what you've been through and continue to fight and to keep moving forwards. So some of you have asked in the chat, Matt, I'm just going to jump in and answer some of these here. Where was it? I saw one here. Being almost 30 and work full time, how have you found this new way of talking and adopting it into your day-to-day? Yeah, that is quite difficult, but during the course, you'll hear plenty of different examples of how people have adapted and changed. Matt talked about the 2 versions of him, almost the same age as each other, being very different to one another. And that's it. You are looking at changing your speaking personality. Your outlook on life needs to change. You're thinking to yourself at the moment that you're in the minority. You're the 1%. Poor you. You've got to stutter and you can't speak. Well, instead, yeah, you've got to stutter, but here, look at you choosing to be strong enough and determined enough to do something about it. You're facing your fears head on. How many people can say, hand on heart, that that's something that they've done in their life? How many people shy away from their fears? Well, you can do something about it. And that makes you feel incredible. And McGuire Programme will even give you more opportunities to feel better by becoming a coach, by becoming an instructor. So Christoph and myself have both traveled to India. We've helped some of our graduates in India to better themselves. I've been there 6 or 7 times now to instruct, and those opportunities would not have been there if I was not a stutterer. Because I stutter, I've been able to travel the world and help many, many other people. So getting it into your daily routine, it's a challenge at first, but just like anything else, maybe changing for a healthier lifestyle, doing a bit more exercise, it's a little bit of work at first, but you'll soon fall into it. The professional environment, that's a really good point there. And I'll ask Brad, because he mentioned that he was an accountant. So Brad, how do you find the response when you start disclosing about your stutter?
Brad Swainston speaking. So the first time I disclosed on the Monday after the course, Telling work I had a few days off as holiday. It was quite brief, and I could see my boss and colleagues didn't understand. So I went home, wasn't happy with that. Called my coach, gave me some advice. I came into work the next day and did a detailed disclosure about how my stammer had been affecting me and what it was doing to me, because to everyone at work, no one knew I stammered. So I had to really go into detail with everyone at work, just because they were also slightly confused over the process. So once I did explain it and told them about the course, the techniques, the way I'd have to speak for a while until I mastered the basics, everyone was really supportive. And when I was doing disclosures after I first left the course, I remember shaking whilst doing them, because I had a whole lifetime of a hidden secret, which I now had to tell everyone. Now, even when I call the opticians, I say I have a stammer, so I need to speak a bit slower. Nobody actually cares, and one of the best pieces of advice someone gave me is, we're all the main characters in our own life. Outside of that, people only care about themselves. They don't care we stammer, and they don't judge us because we stammer. They actually admire us for doing something about it. Brad Swainston. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Brad. That's a brilliant, brilliant answer. I could not have done that better myself. Ali, I see that you've been diagnosed as having a stammer following what looks like a road traffic accident. It's interesting, isn't it, that we look to professionals that aren't stutterers to help us with stuttering. There is nobody better placed to help you than someone that has a stutter. Now, the McGuire Programme looks at stuttering as the failure to articulate, vocalize or articulate words and sounds, something that a simple 5, 6, 7-year-old will be able to do without any issues at all. So that's the kind of approach that we look at stuttering. It's the failure to vocalize and articulate words and sounds. So we take that, and everything that we teach is focused around that. Remember that for most of us, having had a stutter for a long time, the psychological baggage that we carry around with ourselves is vast. Whether you're overt or covert, it doesn't make any difference. And so that's why we specifically focus a day on the physical stuff first, then another day on the psychological stuff. It's really difficult to go into a huge amount of depth on this webinar, but I wholeheartedly believe that you should certainly go look first, Ali, at some more of the videos we've got online, and also another call with Matt perhaps to see whether or not this is the right thing. But I've met new students that have joined us on courses in the past that who have had strokes, and when they've come around from those strokes, they've developed a stutter, and we've worked with them to gain control again. So yes, I feel as though we will be able to help you, but if it's tied into a physical incident, then that might be something worth chatting further with Matt. Matt, when does the registration for the Manchester course close?
Well, we are going to be flexible with that, but about the 9th, I'd say a couple of weeks before the course. We need time to be able to sort out, or for you to be able to know when there's a couple of meetings before the course to attend on Zoom as well. So I think first things first, if you've not spoken to me properly, I think we need to arrange that so that I can go through the course in more detail for you. And then the next step will be, to look at your availability and the hotel accommodation and things like that. So there's a few things to sort out beforehand, but there's no massive pressure for you to have to do it right now. I know there's a lady that's got COVID that's said to me today, I can't do it yet, and don't worry, that's fine. We can obviously sort things out as soon as you're over COVID. I know it wasn't for you anyway, it was for your nephew, but yes. Can I also answer the question, Paul, about the age?
Yes.
I think Lindsay said, how old you have to be able to join the program? Well, there's not an actual, this is the age you need to be, or you can't join if you're that certain age. But the McGuire program is an adult intensive course. So it's primarily taught in an adult way. Okay, it is long hours and it is hard work. There's been teenagers in the past, 15, 16, 17, 18, even into their 20s, that have attended and have not really wanted to do the course. So the key thing is, whoever it is, whatever age, they need to want it badly enough. It has to come from them, not their parents, loved ones, not us who really want to help them. It has to come from them, and not just to attend the 3-day course, but like Harry said, you need to be able to think about doing this after the course as well, working hard. You need to phone your coaches. You need to be, after the course, there's every evening Zooming for 2 weeks, as many days as you can in that 2 weeks to keep up the intensity of this. So I've known people as young as 11, 12 do very, very well on the program. Most 11 and 12-year-olds aren't mature enough to do the course. But then again, what is the actual age? And I think it does come down to how much the person wants it. Okay, so again, if you want to have a chat with me about it, we can then go into more detail, and it will be really good to speak to your teenager and have a chat with them about how they feel and whether they feel it's the right time to do the course.
Thanks, Matt. Whilst you go and switch a light on, I'll go and carry on with some of the questions here. That's better.
It's got a bit darker since we started.
It has, hasn't it? Joseph, a couple of good questions in there, and I'll start off. Firstly, you mentioned, is it more a one-size-fits-all for the technique? So initially, when we teach the material, we are teaching, if you like, a set book. In fact, you can go and buy the book Beyond Stuttering from Amazon, from anywhere else, and you can read up on everything that we'll teach. Everything we teach is in that book. We don't hide that. There we go. Look, Brad's showing it there. It's available from all good bookstores. So what we teach is basically in that book, but it's the way that we teach it, and it's the support that you get whilst we teach it. So you mentioned how you don't have any issues with disclosing, being honest, and talking about your stutter. That's amazing. I wasn't fortunate enough to be that confident about my stutter. So you've tried that and that's not working. You're still severely blocking on occasion. That's fine. Because as I said at the start, Thursdays where we teach physical techniques and Fridays, the psychological stuff. So it certainly seems as though you've got a head start on the psychological stuff. The physical things on the Thursday, we teach weapons that allow you to fight back against your enemy. Your enemy is stuttering. So we talk about FSD, freezing, struggling, and distortion. It all starts off with the freezing of the diaphragm. The diaphragm is freezing when it needs to be moving smoothly to release the vacuum in our thorax to allow the air to pass over our vocal cords whilst we're using our articulators to be able to form sounds and words. That's the first thing that's not happening. It's freezing. So we teach costal breathing. Then we talk about the struggle in the vocal cords and the articulators. So if you can't get the air to be released from your thorax, from your lungs, then what happens is you end up forcing, maybe you're squeezing your voice box together to try and use the most of what air you've got. And then comes the weird stuff that I used to do loads, which was kind of using my tongue to try and get words out, biting my lips together. And then all the blocks start to appear. So freezing, struggling, and distortion of the diaphragm, the vocal cords, and the articulator. That's what we teach on the Thursday. We teach you the weapons to fight back against those three main areas of freezing. That on its own can feel incredibly powerful and will give you the control, as I said, to be able to say your names and addresses by the end of Thursday. But it's not strong enough to take home. It's not strong enough to go into the real world. We need to look at the psychological stuff that goes alongside it. So hopefully, Joseph, that's answered a bit more of your questions there. And there was another one that I saw. Someone was going for an oral exam.
Yeah.
Now then, B. I saw B's message earlier. Where's it gone? There. So you've got an exam coming up in July, which is oral based. How do I surpass this hurdle, when I have a stutter? Quite honestly, with a huge amount of hard work, discipline, and dedication. But I can honestly say, hand on heart, it's achievable. You've heard all of us in this webinar speak tonight. You can see that we're all at different stages in our journey towards our ultimate goal, which is strong, articulate, eloquent speech. And you also know that some of us have been using some of the weapons that we've taught as well. So it can be seen that we're still stutterers. We are all stutterers, by the way, but you can still use the hidden holes and the block releases that we've taught, that some of the guys have demonstrated, and be entirely understandable. We can still understand exactly what you're saying, all the words you're trying to use. The difference is you're not out of control. You're choosing to use these weapons in order to say what you want to say. And that is a big, big thing. That is what we use to help melt our iceberg. We talk about, I'll very briefly talk about it now because I mentioned it, but the iceberg, think of the iceberg, you'll see 10% of the iceberg above the waterline. 90% of that thing is hiding beneath, which you don't see. Okay, so when we talk about stuttering, we talk about the physical element of stuttering as being the 10%. That's the tip of the iceberg. That's what you see. The majority of the stutter is that 90% that lurks below. And so trying to melt that part is what gives you long-lasting control over your speech. And it's that takes the time, effort, and energy. But it's so much fun to do it. And you can start that. You will start that process, in fact, as soon as you start on a course. And that continues afterwards. Working with your coach and the rest of the support network, you can get that down to a size that's far more manageable. I think I've covered everything. Is there any question I've missed, guys, or any last minute questions to come in?
I think you've covered it all. So that's great. Thank you for that. There was quite a few questions, and I'm aware we've gone over time by what we were going to do. We're going to keep it short and sweet, but there has been quite a lot of questions, so it's great that we've been, or Paul's answered most of them. Thank you, Paul. And if you have got any other questions, do contact me. I've just put I think someone just put, how can you contact me? All of my details are on the McGuire website, okay, and on the Facebook page as well. Please, can you show me a copy of the book? There we are.
I think if you go to the website, McGuireProgramme.com, there's a link to it there to purchase it from Amazon. You'll find all the lovely details.
If you can't find it, just contact me and I'll send you the link. That's not a problem at all. Okay, well, we'll leave it there. I hope that you've got a lot out of listening to us tonight, and thank you, Paul. And if you do go to the course in Manchester, you will see Paul and Paulina, and you'll see Christoph with Mustafa Cham, who's going to be doing the online / hybrid version, which obviously I can tell you more about if you want me to explain that. But it's a shame that Mustafa Cham's not here tonight. I know he couldn't attend this evening at the last minute. So he's a great guy as well. So you'll be in really safe hands with the online version there. So yes, that's it. Thank you very much to you three as well for doing your videos. Really appreciate it. And yeah, we hope to see you or help you with your speech at some stage soon. Okay. Thank you all. Bye for now.
Cheers, guys. Take care of yourselves.
Bye.
Bye for now. Bye-bye.